All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to talk about buying calls. We're looking at Morgan Stanley on a daily chart. A question that I get a lot is when should I buy a call or when should I do something other than buying a call or a put? When should I just trade what I typically refer to as a naked option? I get that question a lot. I've noticed that a lot of new traders, the only thing that they know how to trade when it comes to options is just buying a call and buying a put. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in options, there is a time and a place for every style of strategy out there. So while we always can just buy the call or just buy the put, we want to reserve those kind of trades for when it really fits. What I tend to do is I don't buy a call or a put as my first choice in trading in the market. I reserve that right or that opportunity for something that I believe is going to make one hell of a move, and I want to take an existing options trade and put more into it. And the reason why should become obvious as we walk through this example. So, in typical market logic, when a market makes a drastic move to the upside, the implied volatility drops very quickly. It's called volatility crush. We see that kind of volatility crush at earnings, which doesn't have anything to do with the movement in price necessarily, but we see that volatility crush at earnings. But we also see that volatility crush when a market makes a drastic move. Right? Back here, the market made a drastic move to the downside and the implied volatility went up. That's typically how it goes. When you buy a call and you expect the market to move very quickly, the implied volatility is going to go down very quickly. It's going to suck the value out of that call. It doesn't mean that you won't make money. It just means that you're going to be losing some of your profit to volatility. If the move made isn't big enough, the volatility is going to make sure that you almost break even, or even worse, start to lose. That you could actually get into the trade and have it move in the direction that you expected it to go, and yet at the end of the day, you're still not profitable. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. We don't want to buy a call or a put unless we expect a drastic move. But then when we do expect a drastic move and we do buy the call, we're going to lose a lot of value from the implied volatility crush. One thing that we can do to try to avoid that crush is to buy the right call. To go deep enough into the money that the volatility crush doesn't hurt so much, or to use the right strike price, to use the right strike and the right expiration so that the volatility doesn't hurt so much. That's typically another place where newer traders make the mistake. But the very first mistake is believing that in a strong rally that you should just immediately run out there and buy a call. That's a mistake right off the bat. Let's go back to early March or late March. After the virus kind of settled down in the marketplace and the market began to rally back up, buying a call would have been a difficult way to make money in this market. Look at how extreme that volatility drop was. Sure, the market made one hell of a move, but so did the implied volatility. And so those calls would make money, true, but they wouldn't make as much as putting on a different trade. Anything with unlimited upside would have been a good choice. All right, you can get a laddered position, a back ratio. There's so many different things that you could do that have unlimited profit. Just because we're putting on a spread, it doesn't mean that we've capped our gains. We can definitely put on a spread that has unlimited profit. But if we just buy the call and we're right and we get that really amazing move, we lost a lot of the profit that we could have had from the volatility decay. So keep that in mind if you're going to buy the call or the put, and this conversation can go a little different on the put, we're going to do that in another video. But if you just buy a call because you're expecting a strong move in the market, you have to buy the right call, or you're going to immediately suffer the effects of the volatility crush. Now, what I mean by the right call is that you need to go deep enough in the money that you're running almost a synthetic stock. Notice where and I have to put it up here. Let's put delta on here, right here. Notice the delta at 100. That right there, if I was to buy the 35 call, that would be like trading synthetic stock. Delta is a representation of shares. So if I bought the 35 calls with a 100 delta, it's basically me buying shares of stock. And I'm going to be pretty protected against the volatility in that move, which is great. But look how expensive that call is. It's a $13.50 call when the one way down here is only $2.19. So sure, I could get, quote, the right one, but it's crazy expensive compared to getting just this one. You want to try to find that sweet spot, that balance in the middle. And that's what most options trades require us to do. We have to give something up to get something out of the market. The best position would be at the 30 strike. The more common position would be at the 48 strike. Somewhere in the middle, you'll get enough protection from volatility that it suits you, while still getting enough of the move in price and profit to suit you. There really isn't a wrong answer here, and any options on the entire options chain could be used in the move, but your choice has consequences. So if you go deep out of the money, you will get very little profit in the price move, and you'll be greatly exposed to the volatility, right? That is the worst of all choices. At the money is the most common and fair choice, but you're still going to have to deal with the volatility. Deep in the money, you're going to have the most protection from all of the Greeks, but it is the most expensive, right? So you got to find the spot that works best for you. There is, a little bit of give and take for everybody. The whole discussion could be avoided if you was just to put on an unlimited upside spread. There are a lot of choices for that as well. So you don't just have to buy a call if you want unlimited profit. So let's look at what unlimited profit looks like, because that's the one thing that everybody seems to focus on as a new trader. They want to buy a call because they want to see it go to the moon, baby. They want to make thousands of dollars on that. They don't want to cap their gains. Okay, so buying a call and going to the risk graph, this is what it looks like. It just goes up and up and up forever. It doesn't stop. That's unlimited upside. Now, I have to say it's unrealistic to believe that you're actually going to make $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 on a call, especially on a call like something like Morgan Stanley. Is it possible? Yeah, but highly unlikely that it's going to happen, right? So you could get the trade with the unlimited upside without having to buy a call. For an example, this trade right here, it's called a back ratio. Now, notice that this back ratio only cost me $11. It does have a buying power reduction, that is true, but the price of the trade was only $11. And if I am expecting that massive move to the upside, I could put on a trade like this. It has unlimited upside opportunity. It isn't capped. And yet my max loss is capped. And if I was to build it a little bit differently, if the market just continues to fall, if it breaks that structure, for an example, and falls out of the bottom, then I only lose my $11. If I had bought just the call and the market falls, I'm on the hook for $219. Then and that needs to be dealt with. Now, a lot of traders see this very big valley right here and they freak out and say, "But yeah, that valley, that's $257." Yes, it is. But this valley is a time-based trade. So there's no way you can eat all of that loss unless you stay in the trade. Now remember, you're expecting the market to make one hell of a move, and it has to do that quickly. So if you get into the trade and the market doesn't begin making the move that you was expecting to see, you're not on the hook for this $257. You can kill the trade and go find something else. Yeah, you're going to lose a little bit because you got back out again, but you didn't lose what you would have lost trying to trade that naked call. And you could decide to sit in this thing for a day or two and still not be losing the same amount of money that you would in that call. This is only one example out of many of an unlimited upside opportunity. So if that is your focus, if your goal is to find options trades that have unlimited upside opportunity, the call alone is not the only way to get it done. And guys, keep in mind, buying a call or buying a put, it has the highest probability of loss out of any options trade you could do. It loses more than any other trade. You need a drastic move in the market for that call to be profitable. And if you don't get that immediate drastic move in the right direction, then you're just losing more and more and more money. So while we can trade the call, you want to reserve that trade for the right time or the right opportunity, and it should not be your first and definitely shouldn't be your only way of trading options. All right, guys, I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you at the next one.